is the Midnight Raven, and as the year draws to a close, we are leaving 2023 in the dust and bringing in the festivities of what the year could bring. So, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I am the unfestive and exciting Midnight Raven. 2023 has been a year for me, and if you have been a part of my channel, you will know I have experienced a lot of loss, a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, and the end of the year has been no kinder than the start. I won't go into too much detail because we don't want to drag this video down with the rest of my content that I have produced the rest of the year. Now, first of all, I'd like to apologize to all my subscribers for the negative content this year, or therefore lack of, or uninspirational, or monotone, or just plain bleh content. There's no word for it. My content this year has been sporadic, it has been uninspiring, it has been dull. I'm not gonna lie. Mainly for a couple of factors, as you all know, losing a couple of people this year. I stopped doing my true crime content, which I have now put out a couple of videos. I stopped going out a lot. I kind of closed myself off more. I did go on holiday, but it took till the end of the year till I felt like I wanted to enjoy myself. If that's a bad thing to enjoy yourself, I mean, if you take that I lost my best friend in February, and I am still mourning over the loss of my friend, and I didn't feel like going out and having fun. It sounds stupid, but yeah, I don't know. A part of me just didn't want to just be out there with people and do stuff, and the other half wanted me to enjoy life still, but I still felt guilty for it. And as the year went on, things didn't improve. I lost more people in my life. Um, and then as you know, things pile up on you, they become more stressful. So I have been throwing myself into work for about the last 8 months. I've worked an incredible amount of time. I've covered 2 stores at one point where I was working just insistently every hour of every day of every shift that I could be handed. Realized that was a terrible idea. Also, this year I've had COVID for a second time. Oh, yes, the COVID bunnies have been working hard, multiplying. So I caught COVID again, probably due to working too much. I have been quite run down this year with a number of illnesses, including the flu. I had COVID. Um, I kept feeling unwell. At one point, I was getting headaches and just general tired and lethargic. I wasn't sleeping properly, probably for the first 3 or 4 months of the year. I've started recently losing a lot of weight. My hair is thinning and falling out, probably due to stress or my diet. As you all know, the last month and a bit, I've been going to a food bank and I've been going to a community fridge due to financial problems, which were my own. Um, my nan, as you all know, is also unwell. She has deteriorated, and they are still in the process of how long she will be around. They've said a few weeks, but obviously, if she's a tough old bird, which my nan is, it might take longer. But I'm not eating well, and I'm not taking care of myself. Let's put it that way. I'm not taking care of myself, my well-being, and I should be, because I should care. I should care that I don't get enough sleep. I should care that I'm losing weight. I should care that my hair is starting to fall out, because if there is anything more important in a girl's life, it is her hair. And I've noticed that my hair is thinning, it is falling out, and that could be to a lot of factors. It could be to perimenopause, it could be to stress, it could be to my diet. there are a lot of factors that can influence that, and there were a lot of factors influencing me getting sick this year. Not looking after myself, working too much, not taking time, um, not grieving, which puts a lot of stress on me as well. That I didn't grieve for my friend, I just threw myself into work, which is a terrible thing to do, apparently. Masking the pain of something with something else doesn't necessarily fix the problem. In fact, it makes it worse, which I have now come to realize that I should have grieved for my friend. I should have gone to his funeral. I should have gone to my uncle's funeral. I should have done a lot of things this year. And had I took a different approach to them, would I be in the same boat? I can't answer that. That is a question I cannot answer. But it is a question I can pose to myself, which then makes me overthink. And then, yeah, you get it. We're going down a little dark path. So, aside from the fact that I've had a bad 2023, there are positives. Not the entire year has been negative. I now have a grandchild called Willow. She will be 5 months at the end of December, going into the new year. Um, she turned into a bouncy, happy little baby. Um, and Kieran and Katie have done well with her teething, especially. Nothing says joy than a kid teething. But she's coming into a little person of her own, her little smiles, her little giggles, her little laughs. She is such a cutie. Um, and I have got to spend some good quality time with her throughout the months that she has been on this earth so far, and I hope that continues. Aside from that, obviously, my youngest didn't have a child because he is only 15, but he is now homeschooled. He has I wouldn't say half moved in with me. He's spending more time over here with me, which is nice to see. He's coming over more, he's seeing me more. He does have a girlfriend, and he does have a life, and obviously he's a teenager and he is 15 years old, going on 100, um, and has his own little life, but he's spending more time with me and we've hung out and, he's a teenager. What do you expect? So I want to look at 2023. Although it was a bad year for myself, there were positives. I don't want to say, 2023 was just horrendous, it was terrible, because it's not the most horrendous year we've ever had. The most horrendous year I ever had was when we went into lockdown. That first 6 months to a year in lockdown, being stuck in the house, confined, mm, wasn't good because I'm actually claustrophobic and I found the pandemic incredibly hard. Being kept in a house. Obviously, I live in a flat. It's tiny. And I have a communal garden, so we couldn't really go out in the garden because then you'd be around other people. Walking was kind of cool. I enjoyed walking during the pandemic. It gave you a reason to go out and walk, which a lot of people don't do a lot of, because there's always niggling factors that you don't get out in nature. You know, oh, I'm busy. Oh, we could just take the car. And it made people walk. It even made people socialize, because when you went for a walk, you'd wave and you'd say morning, and it got conversation, even though you couldn't really stand there and have a little chat because of COVID. Um, it brought maybe the most introverted people outdoors, even if it was just for a brisk half-hour walk, or just to nip to the shops, and feel comfortable, because there were less people around. I mean, I'm not a big one for crowds. I do go clubbing, but I find that's a different type of crowd. The type of crowds that you go into a shop with during the pandemic were just like horrendous. It's like everyone for themselves. It was like the January sales on acid. Um, just people just off their tits and off their minds. So, although I found the pandemic hard, it was a different kind of hard. And since being able to go out and walk and do stuff more, you've got more freedom, which is cool. It's amazing. I love going out for a walk. So the negatives in this year, they're not necessarily horrendous. I mean, losing family members are terrible. Having COVID, wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. That COVID was horrendous. It wasn't as bad as the first time. The first time I had COVID, I honestly thought I was going to die. I should have been hospitalized. I was not good. And because I'd had COVID the first time, I was on my own. The second time I was on my own, but it wasn't as bad. I did recover fairly quickly. The first time I had COVID, I felt horrendous for about a couple of months. This time it was a couple of weeks before I felt like my full self. I have been quite sick this year, though. I have been on and off sick throughout the entire year. As you can hear, I still have a throat right now. I have felt poorly, tired, drained. I think it's just due to stress and worry. As you well know, I am still going to the food bank. And people have been donating behind the scenes to help with food. People donated behind the scenes for Christmas presents, and I am so grateful to all of you. You saved my Christmas. I want to thank each and every one of you. Um, Even the people that want to remain anonymous that sent money. Again, can't thank you enough. Obviously, coming up to 2024, things are still difficult. Cost of living is horrendous, and I'm not the only one suffering within this hellhole of an economy. Um, but if you'd like to help out the channel, PayPal is still the best way to do it, although you can donate to YouTube, but do consider the fact that YouTube do take 30%, which is a hell of a lot when you think of donating to somebody and you wanting the best for them and then realize that you lose 30% to Google, the multi-million billion pound company. So